Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us today. But this is weird. I feel like I'm turned upside down, right?
As you should.
Please, it's too early. Like,
I know.
my camera is horizontal, so I feel like you are vertical.
Yes, mine is vertical.
Okay, so I feel like I
Why
can
not?
see
Why
you
not?
all kind.
Why not turn your camera the other
Yeah,
way?
I think that's what I'll do. So just give me a
Yeah.
second. Oh man, this is weird because we're live. I have started turning my camera. Oh my god.
It doesn't matter. You can cut that part. I don't think you're able to, but yeah. But I think you can still make edits to the video if you want to.
No, I don't think I want to.
No,
Or
like cut this
better
part
still, I'm
out.
just gonna
That's
put
what I
off my
mean.
camera and try to do this, okay? So just give me a second.
Or you want to? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do I have to go off and join back
No,
or?
just stay.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
But I can't hear. Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I think I've unmuted
Yeah.
myself. Am I
Mm.
clear now?
Yeah. Clear as a whistle, as they would say. Hold on, let me
Okay,
bring up.
perfect. Um, I apologize for that because that's going to be on the video. I'm not going to take it out. It's just part of the technicalities we face when we do live sessions.
Yes,
So,
host.
good evening, everyone. I can see we have viewers joining us. Good evening, everyone,
Oh,
ladies
some
and
people are
gentlemen.
joining. Oh, dang, three people. Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
perfect.
cool.
Yeah,
See,
it's
we see.
live.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for joining, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching from. My name is Kemi.
12. Dang. Okay, this is
Uh,
getting
Zik
interesting.
is Zik is really popular. Oh,
No, it's
I brought
certainly
a
not for me.
celebrity. I brought a celebrity
Certainly.
to my
No,
platform.
I don't know these guys. I don't know them, but I'd love to know them. That's the whole point.
So,
But
Zik,
it's cool.
please, you can tell us where you're watching from, your name as well. Would love to engage with the audience. It would be really nice to do this together. It's a live conversation. And like I said, I have a celebrity on my platform because we have
Wait,
12
wait, what?
individuals,
What did
12
you say?
people, 12 people watching us. Oh, okay. So someone wants to know what we're talking about. Well, the conversation is just about to start, so you're not late. I just really want to get to know Zeke. So before I begin to ask him questions, I'm just going to introduce him real quick. Like I said
Yeah.
earlier on, my name is Kemi, and this is my platform. You're welcome. If you've not subscribed, please kindly subscribe. It doesn't bite. Like as well and share. Thank you so much again for coming. So this night or this evening, it's evening where I'm streaming from or speaking from. But
Hmm.
morning, afternoon, wherever you're watching from, you're definitely welcome. So I have Zeke here. Zeke is a creative director, is a content creator, is a tech bro, is a
Hey, you're hyping me too much. Hey, I'm getting scared.
I was introducing you now. Oh my god. Is
Yeah, that's fine.
a
That's fine. I appreciate that.
What are you again? I feel like you're a lot of things. I need to get all of that right.
And I'm a child of God.
You're
You have to add that part as
got
well.
you,
So
bro.
yeah,
Got you,
yeah.
bro. And he's a child of God. Okay, so today we're just having conversations ranging from faith to mental health to life as a man. Because I just feel like June is someone said random yapping. Trust me, it's not random yapping. You're really going to be blessed on this session. But it's fine. You can always watch later. So like I said, so we're going from mental health to what it takes to be a man. Just really basic questions actually, because I feel like
Hmm.
June is the month dedicated for men. I don't know why I feel that way. Maybe because we celebrate Father's Day, and I think there's like a mental health awareness for men in this month as well. There's just a lot of things going on for men, so I feel like it's really important that we focus on men on this platform in
Yeah.
this particular month. And apart from that, like the two most important men in my life are also celebrating their birthdays this month. So anytime I step into June, I'm always like, it's the month for the man. Woo, let's go there. Do you do
Yeah.
you feel that? Do you feel that way too?
Well, I think I posted well, yes and no. So, but I'll get to the question. I'll get to your answer to answer that when
Okay.
we continue. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we start, introduce us to your brand. I know you're a creative director for a clothing line.
Okay, so
So let's just talk about that quickly.
yes. Yeah, so my name is Isaac Adomabi, and I'm creative director of 1211. I am a stylist.
Oh, you're a model too. I forgot that.
So I'm a fashion designer alongside and amongst other things. Yeah, yeah, I do what I have to do. So, but yeah, I do all of that. So basically, I'm a creative, so I just thrive in creativity, pretty much.
Very true that one. So let's talk about being a creative and having a clothing brand.
Hmm.
Doing that in the diaspora as a Nigerian, as an immigrant, and where the business started from.
Yeah,
Just a little comparison. Do you think that your clothing line as an immigrant in the diaspora has been accepted, or do you enjoy full acceptance, or do you feel like there can be more and you just keep pushing? Do you see the returns in what you
I'm on
do,
the call.
basically?
Yeah, so at the moment, it's like so I wouldn't say accepted, but I think because I'm slowly, so I've just kicked off the brand here, so it was a thing back home, but moved to the UK and studying, having finished the uni and looking to do this full time. So I think it's something people would slowly sort of accept. But I think so far it's not doing bad at all in terms of the awareness and people seeing what the brand is capable of doing. So I would say it's quite difficult because, again, moving from a place where you're almost established and then of course, it's a lot of work that needs to be done because you have to understand where you are and the place and how things work. So
Yeah.
it's quite different. As much as yes, it's fashion, but then it applies differently back home Nigeria than it applies here. So you have to understand that. So there's a bit of work to be done, which that I am slowly doing, and we're making headway, thankfully.
Oh, that's nice. That's good to know. So a question just popped into my head as I hear you talk about these things. Why
Yeah.
did you pack up to come and start from ground zero?
Well, I think it's the same reason most of us really packed up.
I know you're not. What do you mean by most of us? I'm not part of most of
No, no,
us.
I came. So the thing is, I was studying. So I was studying back home. So I was doing science lab tech. So I was in the medicals field. Um, when the time came for me to kind of move, I wasn't just feeling the vibe. I always wanted to study abroad. My parents didn't sort of have the wherewithal at the moment at that time, but I just knew that I went in to study abroad. How the money was going to come, I do not know, but I just knew that I was going to go. And when the opportunity presented itself, I had to take it. So when I moved here, um, so I had to do entirely different from something entirely different from what I was doing because I was in the medical field and then moving to tech. It was kind of like a very it was almost like a different. Not almost, it's entirely different, even though you can still see tech
Yeah.
interwoven in the medical field. But yeah, it was just entirely different. So why did I move? I just wanted something different. So
Yes, I like that. Yeah, I feel
yeah,
like yeah, variety, like I say, is the spice of life. So yeah, variety
yeah,
is good. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it gets you get to a point in life where you feel like, you know what, I just need to make that move. How it's gonna
Mhm.
happen, you don't know, but just something just tells you that it's time. And when it's time, you just have to get ready because when the time presents itself, you jump on it, and yeah.
All
So it's
right.
basically that for me. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So let's focus on you as a man. Like I said, June
Hmm.
dedicated to the men, and that's why I thought to have a man on this platform for this month. So,
Right.
do you think the world is fair to men, generally speaking, on social media? In the faith, well, in the faith, in Christian faith, though, I feel like men are adored.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's my point of view. I know we've had this argument before, but it's fine. I feel like men are respected in the Christian faith. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's just my point of view. It doesn't make me less of a Christian. Oh my God, I truly love God with the whole of my heart, and my
Mm-hmm.
faith is a huge part of my life. So it doesn't change anything. But I think it stems from culture. A lot of us come from cultures where we feel that the man is the more important gender than the woman. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what steamed into the church or steamed into the faith. But does it make the faith less valuable? Definitely no. But
Mm-hmm.
today, I'm not being defensive or argumentative. I just really want to know because sometimes I'm bothered. I feel like a lot of times women are yapping and just complaining about a lot of men. But how exactly is the world treating the men? Do you think the society is really fair to the men?
Okay, so first of all, I would like to address it from a sort of the first instance you gave, which is the biblical standpoint. I feel like the Bible gave each gender a responsibility. Husband, love your wife. Wife, do this. We were assigned a different responsibilities. So now, how we have taken that is completely our problem because it was a stern and given instruction as to how we must. Well, as to how the church, in from a general perspective, has taken that, I believe there's been a lot of personal input to the way the scriptures laid out that we must live and coexist as
Yeah.
husbands and wives. That's been changed and altered in a way that it's almost looking like women as the sufferer of any form of union whatsoever. But I don't think it's so. I mean, if we know our responsibilities as husbands and wives, I don't think we would really worry about whether or not a man is respected. I mean, of course, somebody has to lead the home, but leadership does not mean you're just there sitting and enjoying the whole attention, but it just means that there's more responsibility assigned to you, and you must step into to act as such. So, in regards to the society being fair to men, well, I don't want to say I don't want to say the society is not being fair, because it will start looking like you're trying to draw my attention to, okay, we want more type of thing. But if you look at even historically, you've always seen that the society have always protected the women more than the men. Well, you can
Oh,
say that even in the Western world. I mean, particularly
really?
from the West. Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of like initiatives out there for women to sort of help women. There's a lot of women empowerment. There's a lot of
Oh,
this
yeah.
and that. There's a lot of initiative to help women from
Like
generally, but I
nobody's
don't
paying
think
attention to the boy child.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's less so for men, and that does not mean that. I think the problem stems from men not being able to be vocal. You're
Mm,
not being able. We naturally we don't speak because we feel like we have to battle our emotions, and this sort of ties back to sort of the traditional upbringing. We've been taught to conceal. We've been taught to, you know, take it like a man, like
yeah.
that phrase will always say. So there's a lot of negative and side effects and um, not so good results from such thinking, because
Yeah.
what you're telling men is if you have a problem that you must speak up, then you have to, you know, chest it like a man or take it like a man. I feel like that's been one of our problems because men are not wired to speak. Now it's not looking
Mm,
like, oh, we are fine. And of course, if you don't say it, there's no way, we would know it. So as a
yeah.
society being fair to women, well, I don't think as a society being fair to men than women, I don't think it's a comparison thing. I just feel like men need to be given a space to speak up more. And yeah, that's pretty much my take on that.
I absolutely agree with that, especially like the empowerment thing. Yes, you're right about
Hmm.
that. Like, there's a lot going on for the girl child, there's a lot going on for the women, but it seems as if nobody or just few individuals are really paying attention to the
Hmm.
empowerment of the boy child.
Yeah.
And that is why when they eventually become adults and people begin to say one or two things about men not being brought up properly or things like
Yes.
men as scum and all of that that they say on
I
social
feel that
media,
face. I
it's
know, right?
probably because nobody paid attention to the boy child, not the
Hmm.
parents, not the outsiders, not the neighbors, empowerment and all of that energy was not channeled into bringing them up properly and
Mm.
making sure that they are allowed to really speak out or I don't know, cry
Yeah.
if they want to.
Yeah.
When they say things like men are not allowed to cry, please, if you're watching this, you're allowed to cry.
Yeah,
Please,
absolutely.
you can come on
I
social
think
media and cry.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think um for me I do cry. I mean, I don't cry like a baby, obviously, but I do I mean, if I need to tear up, I need to tear up, then I must tear up. But I think the problem is we growing up as a boy child in a society or in a household where you've never seen your father being able to open up on things or
Mm.
to speak up or to express
Vulnerable.
emotion or be
Yeah.
vulnerable, the right
Yeah.
phrase. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to know any different from what you've grown up to see and experience. So I think
Mm-hmm.
there's a need to have more people or parents. Being vulnerable is, like they would say, is not a sign of weakness. It just
Yeah.
shows that you value your emotions and you're able to be open about it. And one thing people don't understand about being vulnerable is when you're vulnerable, you you're not just freeing yourself, you're freeing other people watching
True.
you, because some people who normally wouldn't be able to open up as such will now say, oh, if that person is opening up, then I must. So it's almost like that awakening, so to
Yeah.
speak, for them. Yeah, I think it's good.
I, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. Vulnerability is not a negative emotion. There is nothing wrong with being vulnerable. I
Absolutely.
feel like even as a man, you should be somebody you're vulnerable to. Now, talking about that, whenever you go through like difficulties, I think Medakolo just released a single. I don't know. Yeah,
Brotherly.
yeah,
It's one
brotherly,
of my
and
favorite. Yeah, it's one of my favorite
yeah, like
songs.
it's such a beautiful song.
Mm,
It just promotes brotherhood, promotes the importance of being able to lean on other men, like the men that have gone before you, having true male companionship, that there is nothing wrong
it's
with that.
everything. It's
Beyond the
everything.
games, beyond the any other thing that the men might do, but truly being able to, I don't know, rely on a man. So now I want to
Yeah.
ask you, do you have that man figure in your life? That person that you can just
Well, that's a
easily
good
talk
question.
to, because
Mm.
I feel like a lot of men are do life alone.
Yeah, I mean, Whew. First of all, I think one thing about men is, or one thing I've noticed is we're not wired to condition it. A lot of people say therapy, therapy, therapy. We're not conditioned to engage in the traditional form of therapy where you sit down side by side.
Yeah.
But we can have our own therapy when we're doing something. We like to engage in something whilst we're having that moment. Take, for
Mm,
instance, you could go to play football or go to sit out with friends and you guys start talking about different stuff
yeah.
and you just throw that question in that way that man can somehow open up to you, but say sit side by side and open up to you. I think that's one thing we need to really embrace, the traditional form of therapy where we can sit side by side and really talk and address things. And now that to your question where you said, do I have anyone? I don't, to be honest,
Yeah.
it's nah. If I have to be very honest, no.
Yeah.
But do I have? I mean, there are situations where I can sort of open up to a certain degree to someone,
Hmm.
or people that I feel I can rely on, or I trust them enough to be able to. I confide in. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if there are people like that, and I don't have that one person where I say, okay, this is person that I can wholeheartedly empty of myself to them.
Yeah.
I know it's something that I'm still looking for, but hopefully eventually we'll find one.
I hope you find, because the truth
Yeah.
is, I, sometimes, it's fun when couples say, "Oh, we are each other's best friend. My husband is my best friend, and my husband." That's absolutely fine, but it doesn't change our conditioning. Our conditioning. Do you understand? I'm a woman,
Mm,
so in as much as my husband might want to confide in me, I might not always see things from his perspective. I might want to,
sure.
because I'm not in his shoes, right? I've never been a man. I can only try to,
Yeah.
yeah, to understand the burden or to understand the pain, or maybe I might even be saying the right things he wants to hear. But a man who has probably walked that
Yeah.
path or who has gone through that same thing before understands even a guy's
Can understand.
silence. Like he understands your
Yeah.
a woman probably asking you, why are you quiet? You're not talking to me. Do you still love me? Do you? The man is probably thinking about bills. He's probably thinking about issues at
Exactly.
work. Do you understand? But because
True.
a woman is conditioned to talk,
Yeah.
to interact, we just, we like to. People say women are more emotional. I don't like to use such terms, but I like to say women are very expressive. Okay, we just want to let out the burden, let out the pain,
Yeah.
whatever you're feeling, you just want to discuss it. But men are not like that. And the woman
Yeah.
who is the wife or the partner, who is also the best friend, might not understand that. And that is why I feel like every man should have a
Yeah.
male figure in their life. It could be their pastor, it could be a mentor, it could just be someone who can really see your pain and understand what you're going through and give you like the right
Yeah.
advice. Yeah, that's me giving you a
Yeah.
man's
So
advice
so
for
to yeah, yeah, yeah. So to me, um so you said something about women are emotional beings. I don't think women are. I think human
me. I
beings
don't.
are
I think they
emotional
say
beings.
that. I don't subscribe to
Um,
that though.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, yeah, because if you say like you had to say women are more expressive, that's correct because we're human, so we would always be we're emotional beings.
Yeah.
So, but we're seeing a gender who is more expressive than the other, so it's looking like
Yeah.
okay, this is the same as this. So, well, it's what I would say is it's not like people. It's not like they don't exist people who you would love to confide in. I think
Mm.
the problem might stem from me or might come from me because I don't feel like I've trusted myself well enough to trust someone to be able to open up to them in that way.
Yeah.
So because people are always there to listen, it just depends on how willing you are to open up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but it is something. But now I'm becoming much aware. It's not like I'm bottling everything up, but at least I'm not holding everything the way I used to. Now I'm more expressive. I know that okay, I can talk to someone, even if I don't want them to sort of understand like the super vulnerable, those very delicate side of it. But there are ways I can sort of open up to them where they can still see through the vulnerability, but yet,
Yeah.
yeah, still keeping my, um, still being in conscious of what I'm doing pretty much. Um, yeah, so I think that's what's been for me
Yeah.
as a man
Very true.
and my experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely understand that, and one thing just came into my mind as you said, as you were speaking, having really
Yeah,
present fathers, fathers who are not just paying the bills. There is you see, a father is a
present.
child's first role model. So how you model being a
Mm-hmm.
man to your male child is so important. Like, I can't stress it enough. I'm a girl child, but I
Mm-hmm.
can say that the reason why I don't want to use the word very opinionated, but the reason why I don't hesitate to share my opinion is because of my dad. Okay? I have a father
Yeah,
who was available enough to let
yeah,
me believe my thoughts, okay, to let me see myself, to let me know that there is nothing wrong with me. Do you understand? So that self-awareness, yeah, that's
mm-hmm.
the word. So I was able
Yeah,
to get that self-awareness because my dad was very much available, and I'm not even a boy child. Do you understand? So fathers are like the very first examples, the first role models. So if we can have more fathers show up, of course, I know that paying the bills and being a provider can be a lot, but in other ways, because it's possible that you're just being a provider. Your boy child is only seeing the man as providing. They don't see being a man as anything else. They only see being a man as paying the bills. And that's why I don't blame those ones that are on social media these days and just lashing out that they are not going to pay any woman's bill, that women are looking for money, this and that. It's probably because of the way they were
yeah,
brought up. Do you understand what I'm saying? If they probably had parents who were
mm-hmm.
the examples, when
Yeah,
they had like a mom or a sister or a mentor or a role model who was also doing like our own thing and who had like our own independence, you see things from a different perspective. And you had a father who was not only providing financially, but was also emotionally available, was psychologically available. It was your go-to person. But some people had like this
Yeah.
a snake and rat relationship with their fathers. Like when the man comes, he's the chief commander. Like you cannot even talk to him. He's probably like he's the strictest parent in the house.
It's war.
There is no
It's war.
relationship with the
Yeah,
dad. Oh
absolutely.
man. Ah.
Yeah.
So
And,
like
and
so
and the thing is,
I don't know. Well,
if you see every, yeah. So yeah, if you see a girl child that had their parents or the father figure absent, you can almost tell. Like
exactly.
the mother has her own energy and the father
Mm-hmm.
has his own energy. So these two
Mm-hmm.
energies, you have to inculcate these two energies and being able to work together
Yeah.
within this child or in this child, being able to
Yeah.
still let them be able to, you know, independently without clashing. And there's no way
Mm-hmm.
you can say, oh, I am this, or my father didn't raise me, my father was present, but I'm still that. That's why you see a lot of people come online and make comments, and you can almost tell that the father figure was completely absent. There was no father, there
True.
was no head in the house.
Yeah.
And it's just that's the parental delinquency that we still are facing even up till now.
Mm.
And but the thing is, I think I was listening to someone say, if you limit a man to just being a provider, you undervalue him.
True
You
that
can't
one.
just say a man is more than just a provider. If you see him as being just a provider, you're undervaluing him because besides
Clockets.
just providing, there are other aspects. Other aspects of raising a child. In fact, providing
Mm-hmm.
is not the least thing because of course you need to provide, but there are certain aspects that needs to be right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be a sham. It's going to
Yeah.
be a wreck. And you can almost see that even the people that are raised with both parents, you can almost see that there's even that deficiency in some way. How much more
Mm-hmm.
somebody that the mom was completely absent or the dad was completely absent, and you see they always fight that energy. Any girl you see that the father was not present, they're always feminist, they're always this. I'm not saying all of them are,
Ah,
don't get me wrong, but most of them
oh my god!
they fall
You
into
let the
this
feminists
umbrella
come
and
for
they're always
you.
fighting men. They're always fighting men. And the other side of it, when the mom is absent, they're always fighting women. So conflict. And I think more. And I'm not saying there are no situations where there's, if you must go your separate ways, you must go your separate ways. But understand that there are consequences for that action. And if there are ways you can help mitigate it, not completely stop it, because you can't mitigate it and reduce the effect of not having the father present. If there are ways you can do it, I think it's something that we must also factor in raising a child. And it's just really sad, but that's the situation of things. And that's why we have a lot of people come online, which I'm sure you already seen, saying all sorts of things that you would sit back and you would wonder, what's the thought process, what's happening to this person, why do they have this reasoning? And you can almost see there's a pattern. So every girl that's had a father figure absent, you can always see there's a pattern in their behavior. They're always fighting against patriarchy. They're always fighting against men at this. They're always doing that. There's this lady, she says she's a feminist, and yet she's got a man and she has two kids. I don't know her name, and the kind of things she says, I don't want to listen to her. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but just to see her say what she's saying, you can almost tell there's a problem fundamentally. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I want to argue
Yeah.
on some part though, but like I said,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
I
gonna.
mean, I'm open to. No, no,
You
no.
know,
I'm open
I
to.
just want to focus on the. I just want to
No,
focus
no,
on
no.
the men this
Yeah,
month.
that's fine.
It's
That's
as
fine.
if Kemi has
And and
come.
and that's not to say, I mean, there are children who've been raised by single parents that have come out
Of
fantastically
course, and
well.
they're doing fantastically well. Yeah,
That's not, but we're talking about the
yeah.
majority. What's the ratio to people who are not doing well? So it's you can see there's a really huge gap,
Mm.
and you can, I mean, a lot of people would argue that, but this is my take, and I stand by it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. We are all allowed to have our opinion, definitely.
yeah,
At
yeah,
the end of the day, the most important thing is to, um, it should be faith based,
yeah,
based on the word of God. And really, like you said earlier when we started, that you're a child of God, and you also
Yeah.
rightly said how the Bible talks about the man, the husband. Yes, the husband being the head of the wife. Because I don't want to say the man being the head of the woman. Before the main, the
It has to
fact
be
is, the
husband.
Bible said the husband. If you are not my husband, you're not my head. There is no two ways about it. But
Yeah.
some men, they have probably misinterpreted this, and they feel like men should always be above women. Please, there is nothing like that. It is in the home, and it is for the home to function properly. Two
Hmm.
captains cannot take care of the sheep, or what's the
One
word?
has to lead. Yeah.
Well, exactly. One has to lead and the other has to follow. It doesn't make you less valuable in any way. And that's why you have the choice of picking a man you can submit to. You have the choice. If you should pick a
Facts.
man you can submit to, I
Facts.
should marry a man because I can see him as my leader. I can see him as somebody I can readily submit to. But if you marry men who you feel like, who are you, or what can you do, or what are your capabilities, what is your capacity? Why will I submit to you and all of that? But as we talk about submission, there's a need to also emphasize on men
Hmm.
loving their wives, husbands loving their wives as Christ loved the church. It is
Sure.
really important. We can't stress this enough. Love is everything the Bible said it is, but we're not going to go and start quoting what love is in the Bible. Now, talking about faith, talking about
Absolutely.
faith, yeah, talking about faith, when did you make the decision, or when did you come to that awareness, that consciousness that the Christian faith, I assume that we're born into a Christian family? Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, perfect. So, but when did you come into that place of awareness or consciousness that you really want to be a Christian? That time you could have decided to
Mm.
go into another religion, right? Especially now that you're even on your
No.
own. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you decide
Yeah.
that I would never turn back, that I want to follow Jesus, when did you make that decision?
I think being raised in a Christian family, I think it's just sort of it's a natural pick for you. But then at some point you have to decide for yourself what's this pick. How does this pick? How sustainable is this pick for you? The choices you've made as a Christian, as being a
Hmm.
Christian. Well, I cannot specifically tell you, okay, this is when I gave my life to Christ, and because I'm at that phase where I'm constantly dying, like Paul will say, I die daily. There's always things to be worked on, but I can't exactly say, okay, this is when, I found Christ and where I had a personal revelation of who He is. But I believe, or I know that I've always been in touch with that side of me. Of course, growing up, I mean, I rebelled a few times, but then, I mean, as I sometimes will, um, but yeah, I've always been here. I just feel like, even in my rebellious behavior, I wouldn't say rebel because I think I'm painting myself right now.
It's
So
fine.
you feel
I
like,
was a
I'm
rebel
that.
for
I
a
wasn't
long
a
time.
bad child. I wasn't a
That's
bad
good.
child, but I mean, I just felt like, okay, what does something different from this feel like, you know? And when you experience it, it's like, okay, maybe there's not so much here out for here for you, so you might as well just go back. And I think I was gracious enough to come to that point where, I still had that sort of strong liking for him, and I went back, and yeah, this is my life.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I've answered your question.
No,
Yeah.
definitely. It's fine. You did. When I have Christians on this platform, that's not to say that people of other religion are not allowed to watch. But whenever I have Christians on this platform, I just like when they talk about their faith, because I'm of the
Hmm.
opinion that it's why we were saved in the first place. To be able to
100%.
talk
Yeah.
about to talk about our experiences, who we used to be, how we came into the light, and how this light has basically saved our lives. You know, Christian
Mm,
values are so important to me because I feel like a lot of Christians are actually living their life in obedience or in accordance to the values of Christianity. The society would
mm.
actually be a good place. Like, it would be a better place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
we have Christians these days who only want to talk about how they are Christians and but are not ready to obey what the Bible says. Like you want to argue with
Yeah,
everything the Bible says.
exactly. Even the Bible says people are defining their own righteousness and forsaking the righteousness
Mm-hmm.
of God. I think people now they give you like an idea of what they think righteousness is, but no, there's a book you must follow. There are precepts, there are
Exactly.
laws, there's a blueprint for you as a Christian. So if you call yourself a
Mm-hmm.
Christian, then you must follow this blueprint. Otherwise, you're probably something else, you know. But when people start to define their own understanding of righteousness and Christianity, I think that's why we've landed where we are, and that's why we're in the dilemma that we are now. So
You're so right about that. Oh my God, you're giving really good responses. And I feel like I don't even have to
thank
say
you.
too much. I don't have to add an opinion to that because your opinion explains
Yeah.
exactly what I would say to anyone about Christianity or about faith and all of that. In as much as I was also born into the Christian faith, but it was just a thing I was doing because of course when you're part of a family you need to obey the traditions of the family.
Mm,
But I knew
yeah.
that I always had questions, and that's why I feel like parents or individuals should always be ready to entertain the questions of younger believers, younger people
Hmm.
who are not really sure why they're in the faith or why the faith is important, why Christianity is
Hmm.
important. Part of what we need to do is to pour into the younger ones, the Gen Z, the Gen Alpha that is coming after them. There is a need to constantly talk about faith from a place of
Yeah.
understanding. But how can we talk about what we do not understand, or how can we talk about a God that we do not know? And that's why it's
Mm,
important to, as we live our daily lives, to also really get to know God and just talk about how the faith has changed your life. You see, we don't even have too much to say about Christianity. It's just what Christianity has done for me. Like what faith has, it's just share your own story basically. I was at point A, then I came to the faith, or I began to recognize who Jesus was, and I moved from point A to point B, and I became a
yeah.
better person. That's basically it.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be a very difficult
Yeah.
conversation to have. Yeah, true that
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. And when you have conversations about righteousness, people think that, oh, stop acting all holier than thou and stuff. No, it's one thing to it's one thing to do something that's wrong, okay, and it's another thing to justify it as right. And I
Mm,
give you a very good instance. There were two people who died alongside Christ on the
Christ,
cross.
yeah. Yeah.
One was remorseful, the other one was being, what's the word? Braggadocious. I don't know if that's the right word, but don't hold me
Oh yeah.
accountable. He was feeling like, he was being very entitled. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you are who you say you are, save yourself and save us. How dare you? I mean, there's that arrogance. Now, I would understand that. I want, even if I'm doing something that I know it's against the precepts, I want to know within myself that I'm not doing this because I cannot avoid it. I'm not doing this
Mm,
because I'm justifying it as right. I'm doing it because there's a side of me that's not over does not sort of that's yet to overcome this thing that I'm doing. So you're somebody that drink,
mm,
you know drinking is bad, but you're praying to God that you want to overcome this spirit of drinking or whatever it is. So, but I have a problem. I don't have a problem with you doing it because I won't judge you. But when you start to justify it as right, now that's where we start to have conversations differently. Yeah, that's my take on that.
makes sense. A question just popped into my head right now. A lot of questions are popping into my head. By the way, I have
Shoot.
my questions written down here, but I've not even checked my I've not checked my junk for one time. Oh my god.
You say you don't, you and I, we don't need questions. It's vibes.
Yeah, true that one.
So, but
We
yeah,
have good
yeah. So
conversations without, yeah. True.
always,
True.
always, always, always. But yeah,
So
I
my
mean, throw any
question.
question. I feel like you don't have to go by the book. You can, whatever comes to mind,
Okay.
just
Thank you for
talk about. Yeah,
understanding
yeah.
because I know I tell you like questions
Always.
spiral and I really thought I was going to stick to them. But sometimes when you are having a
Nah.
great conversation with someone who knows how to hold a great conversation as well, it just
Oh,
flows like
thank you.
seamlessly. Yeah, thank you so much too.
Appreciate that.
So do
You're
you think
welcome.
the church is a safe place?
Do I think?
The church is a safe place.
The church will always be a safe place. Now, the practices in church is what's making it unsafe or seem unsafe. People are
Mm,
bringing personal opinions and traditions. That's in most cases against what the preaching of the gospel says, and which is where when you start adding human element to the way the blueprint, you're messing the thing up. It's a blueprint because it's been pre-planned. This is how
yeah.
you must go. This is how you must what you must follow. But when you start to add human knowledge, okay, I think this is no, you don't have to think. There's a way, there's a layout plan for you. Go by it. But I don't think a church is a bad place. But not like I don't think the church is not a bad place. I mean, it's sinners who attend church, and I think Paul emphatically said that. Paul was not, he was Saul before he received the revelation of Christ. And
Yeah.
when he received the revelation of Christ, you could tell that Paul's preaching was quite different from those who were not, quote unquote, exposed to Paul's experience. Paul had been on
Mm-hmm.
both sides of it. He
Exactly.
crucified the church. He's done so many horrendous things, like things that you were like, no,
Mm,
even when I think I'm not very sure, but even when he would, say certain things, you would see him say, if there's anybody that could have been saved, it's himself, because he was far from being saved. But he looks as it when he looks at himself, he sees
yeah.
that he can only see the grace of God, because by himself there's no other making other than Christ
Yeah.
doing it for him. And back to your question, is church a safe place? Absolutely. But I think the practices in church is what's making the people in the church is what's making it the problem. It's just like saying, is Nigeria a bad place? Nigeria in and of itself is not a bad place, but the people
Mm-hmm.
existing in Nigeria, love is not a bad place. It's people exposed or practicing love, so to speak, is what's making it bad. So it's the people, not the thing itself, or the place, or
Mm,
the atmosphere itself. So yeah,
mm.
I hope
I
I've
like
answered your
that. I
question.
like I like the analogy. Clock it. That's really spot on. I like the
Thank you.
analogy. Yeah. The analogy makes a
Appreciate
lot
that.
of sense because when you have conversations with people who have actually experienced like church hurt and
Mm,
maybe you're taken advantage of and all of that, and you hear them say things like, "I can never go to the church again. I can never interact with Christians again," and all of that. And
mm-hmm.
it wasn't the institution, just like you said. It was just people. It was just the people,
Yeah.
and people sometimes are just people because who would have thought that without clothes Peter was to Jesus, he was going to deny Jesus 3 times. Sometimes people are
Exactly.
just people. They might not even want
Exactly.
to do what they did, to you understand, but it doesn't change the fact that they did
Mm-hmm.
it anyway and they hurt you. But to always understand that we are all working towards perfection and the church might be imperfect, but the God we serve is a perfect God, and the church is the bride of
100%.
Jesus. Yeah, true that one. So
100%.
yeah, so this is just a word of consolation to anyone who has been hurt by the church and who has said, you know what, I'm never gonna go back there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a mess, and I experienced really bad times and all. This is just an encouragement to you that you shouldn't let go of the church that
Mm-hmm.
Jesus died for because of an individual or because of
Exactly.
whatever error they committed and all. So there is need to just go back to that family, that community, because it is iron that sharpened iron, and there is no need
Mm-hmm.
neglecting the gathering of the brethren, because that is how
Of the
we grow
sense, yeah.
together. That is how we're transformed. That is why
100%.
that is how our life changes basically. Okay, so yeah, that's that about faith. Don't let's go into Bible studies.
Well,
Oh my god. Okay,
that's
so
fine.
let's go back to men and their mental health, basically. So, what
Right.
are some of the things that men can do, and maybe how women can also help them? To be in a good place mentally, really,
well,
because we might not talk about it a lot. We might feel okay, yeah, a lot of women or some women find it easy to talk about how they are suicidal or they're depressed, or they are anxious
Mhm.
or they're having panic attacks, talk about some of like their mental health issues. But not a lot of men like to talk about these things because they feel like it makes you a weakling and all. So what
Yeah.
can be done by the men themselves and by the society at large?
Okay, I think from the men's perspective, I think we've always said this, there has to be some level of openness. Okay, that you have to, we need to start speaking up. I know I can't stress this enough because how do they say it? And a closed mouth is a closed destiny, right? I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but if you don't speak up, it's hard for anyone to actually think you need help. And the worst kind of, because the thing is, if I'm physically hurt, it's easy for you to tell that, okay, oh, this person is actually hurt, let's help them. But when you're mentally affected, you can barely tell what's happening because you can see a normal person until you start to engage in conversation. I think um, men need to speak up more. Men need to understand that vulnerability is not weakness. There has to be this kind of reorientation of mindset of how they see being open and speaking up. From the woman's perspective, I don't think it's a woman's thing. I don't want to say from the rest of the world, right? We need to create a safe space, and it's kind of hard to be honest. I don't think because it's almost a built-in thing. So it's kind of hard to say, okay, we're going to create a safe space where men can speak. I think we need to be take accountability for our own mental health. Okay, do the thing that I think is an individual problem as opposed to, of course, that's not to say collectively we cannot do anything, but you need to start holding yourself accountable. And I don't think women is not stopping. We're not. You guys are not stopping us from actually speaking. We can speak, but I think
Yeah.
where you guys can come in would be adjusting to how, because again, a man has to develop some level of trust with you to be able to open up to you and tell you stuff. I mean, I go live on TikTok and I speak to a lot of people, and I understand that. I mean, somebody actually sent me something. Oh, he said, I enjoy your live because you make the place conducive enough for someone to feel safe. And how do I do that? I don't go about saying, oh, I'm trying to make this place. It's not something I do consciously. It's just understanding that people have different views and opinions and being able to accommodate it. And of course, tell them what you think. Okay, I slightly differ from this. And that's not a problem. Where can women come in? I think there's a need for to be to create that safe space, a safe space where when somebody opens up to you, say for instance, a husband opens up to you, they don't stand or feel like they're going to be threatened or their position is going to be marred or they're going to be seen differently or perceived less. So I think that is what men fear as opposed to not being able to speak up. It is how we're going to be perceived as opposed to how speaking up really. So I think that's where you guys, quote unquote, will have to come in to keep my answer short anyway. I mean, there's a whole lot of conversation to be had about that, but yeah, that's where I'll
Yeah.
stop for today.
Thank you so much. That was
Yeah,
such a good response. Yeah. So, like, women
appreciate it.
also, like, this is just me telling the women, when a guy expresses himself, stop telling him he's nagging. You start hearing things like, why are you nagging? Man up.
Oh, come off
You don't
it.
have to show your emotions. A lot of things that people say to
Yeah.
men, even parents saying to their boy child, like, you're a boy, you can't react like a girl reacts. Like, what is, I don't know, but
Yeah.
this is just telling the people, from parents to women to even the men themselves. Because even men themselves yab themselves. We don't talk about that
Mm-hmm.
enough. Because when a
Yeah.
man is, I think I heard Apostle Selman saying this one time, that when a man appears soft or appears good or appears really kind, that even the society,
Mm-hmm.
even his fellow men, will be telling him that, why you this, why you like
Kilo
this,
do.
why
What's
eh,
happening?
eh, like, why you being vulnerable? Why you so
Yeah.
soft? Why you always crying? Why you I don't know,
Mm,
Shabo. I know that men even do this
yeah.
to themselves. So
And I'll tell you what actually happened. This is like a personal experience, right? My dad is he looks very well. He might not look soft, but he is soft. And I'll tell you why. My dad can actually be seeing a movie and will cry. That's something I don't do.
Wow. I've
It's
never seen my dad cry
crazy.
though.
Like, bro, I can tell you for free. I remember one time we're seeing this movie because my dad has a chair, so I was always sit beside the chair. So I always sit on the floor. So of course, if anything, I would hear. All of a sudden, I was hearing we're watching this really emotional movie, and then he said it. I was like, so I was hearing something. I couldn't come to terms with what I was hearing. I was like, I want to do so. You get me? And then he was like, and I turned. I was like, yeah. I even coming from me as his child, it felt weird. So you can
You
imagine what
see?
it feels like. You get me? But I just had to understand that even me, I wouldn't do that. Why would I cry over a movie? I mean, I can get
Uh-uh.
emotional, but
Please,
cry,
man,
bro.
don't listen to
Hey,
Zig. If the movie's
no,
emotional,
no, no, no,
cry
no.
away.
I'm not. No, no, no. I'm not saying don't cry. Of course, obviously, a lot of things are changing. Now, at least I can tear up, but
Yeah.
not like shed tears. Nah, that's I could get teary eye. I mean, that's as much as you're gonna get. But hey, anything other than that, well, maybe you have to be slicing onions or something to actually get that one out. I'm just saying.
Oh, but
So,
report
but
us
I
your
mean,
dad.
it's just
If
good
a
to
man
see.
cries while
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
that's
I don't think for me, I don't know where he got that. I don't know which of my brothers have got that, but I don't have it. Yeah, I can be emotional, but I say cry over a movie. Oh man, I'm not saying tear up. I'm saying cry.
yes,
You don't
so
get me. Like
I get
actually
you
cry.
because
Like
I
so,
cry
so
too when watching movies.
exactly.
And don't say
You know
it's
how
because
someone
I'm a
goes through a
girl. Don't
heartbreak
even
and then
say
they
that.
cry. Bro, I like okay, cool. But right now, I think I'm learning differently. I'm understanding that hey, if you must, you must. And I think one of the problems that we men are having is because we're bottling a lot of emotions and we're not letting it
Yeah.
out. And because over time, when you bottle things over time, it explodes. That's why I see men are
Mm-hmm.
stressed. That's why you see they react in a way that are not right. So you see a lot of antisocial behavior. I'm not saying about this is a man issue. I'm saying it's prevalent in men than it is
Yeah.
in women. Yeah. So
You're
that's my
so right
take.
about that. Men, please don't mind Zico. If you're watching a movie with emotional, please feel free to
No,
cry.
I'm not saying. Hey, I'm not saying don't cry. I
I
mean,
cry you. And it's not because I'm a woman. Sometimes, like you said,
mm,
apart from bottled up emotions, sometimes things eat us differently, you know. Yeah. So the movie could have gotten to you in a different way from the other person who was watching the
see,
film.
I was watching that movie. Hey, so I know what I could see what he was saying,
You're
but.
just a child now. What?
But it's fine. I understand that people process things differently, so that's fair. I would
Yeah, yeah,
understand. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And on the final note, men, please ask for help. Like it's absolutely fine to ask for help. And when you were talking about the whole emotional thing, the all emotions
Yeah.
thing, I remembered, the story of David in the Bible and what happened when I think he and his men went for a battle. Then by the time they came back,
Yeah.
another nation had come to their own space, taking their wives, taking their
Hmm.
children, taking away everything and all of that. And his men, like the people he went out to fight the battles with. The Bible talks about how they were
Yeah.
contemplating to stone David to death.
Oh,
Like it was so
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
But the part that stood out to me was how the Bible says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. You see, sometimes the people that you thought would understand might not understand. And I'm sorry, that's just the way humankind is. They might not
Yeah.
understand. The people you thought would be there for you. Because who would have thought that the same David who had won lots of battles for his people, the same people would now be contemplating to stone him to death just because of one incident. They didn't even
Hmm.
remember the things that this guy had already done for them. I like to say that the human mind is the average human is forgetful. The average human hardly remembers the good times. We are only so focused on the present. And when something goes wrong now, we forget that things were good before now. and to give those people who
Yeah.
probably made that mistake or made that error, to just give them that space, just forgive easily. And that's why the social media generation, this generation, this thing called cancel culture is crazy. How we find it easy to just cancel people. The same people who had probably done like awesome things before, just because there was an error and it came on social media, we find it easy to call people out. You hear people even calling
Yeah.
out fathers in faith, like calling them out and saying all sort of horrible things. It's just, I don't know, but it's just the generation we find ourselves. But so the humankind might not be kind to you, but there is a need to continually encourage yourself in the Lord and to find succor
Hmm.
in His embrace. I always hope and pray that God will send you the people that you need, that would always comfort you in distress. But before those people come,
Yeah. You have to comfort
strengthen yourself in
yourself.
the Lord. Yeah,
Yes. So yes, I
that's why
think
Jesus,
it's very
Jesus is our
important
best friend at
because
the end of the day.
I mean, as long as that's why I think it's important that we have the right people in our space because life is gonna hit hard,
Yeah,
but just
it
having the
will.
right people in your space, it does change everything. So um, I'm still searching for the right people, but who knows? I'm trusting God
Uh-uh.
as well. So
See me now, right, people? You not see me. But really, it's important to have like the right friends. I can't stress that enough.
yeah,
People you
yeah,
can really talk to and all. Yeah, it's really important. So, the
absolutely.
last
It's
question: if you had a word of advice for your 18-year-old self, what would it be? Especially about manhood. I know you're not 18 right now. You might look it, but I know you're
no,
not.
um,
What's obvious?
so my no, 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 I know I know I'm saying obviously I'm not 18. But yeah, um, I think it would be to take more risks and to try as much as you can not to let fear define things for you. A lot of the time we find ourselves even when we can actually do stuff, but because we are scared of the outcome, we don't even attempt it. And I say this a lot on my TikTok page where I talk about, you must. And when I say these things, I'm not like I'm doing I'm the best version of myself. I'm also reminding myself I still have those limiting beliefs, or I would better phrase, those limiting beliefs. Don't let them hold you. If you try something, it doesn't work out. Well, there's always something to gain from it. There's a blessing, which is the experience that you've gained from failing. And at least
Yeah.
you can have conversations about that thing. Well, it would be to just try. I don't think I love to explore, but then again, I just held myself back in so many ways. But I think we're slowly getting there. My people always say it doesn't matter when you wake up, but when you wake up is when your morning is. Um, so
Mm,
um, so I think yeah, hopefully it's not too late. I don't think it is, but yeah, we're there.
yeah.
We're there.
It's not actually. And you're doing so well. Like, I'm really proud of you. I'm proud to be your friend. What you do
Are
basically
you?
encourages the rest of us. I know I don't watch your
Yeah,
TikTok live anytime, but I see like the great things you're doing with
yeah.
your clothing brand, with the content you create, and even as a person, like you're doing so well basically. And this is just to say well done,
Thank you.
and to say that
Thank
we're
you.
really proud of you and proud of every other man out there who is putting their hands to work and just making the world a better place, basically. Whew.
Yeah.
Now I can breathe. Thank you so
So
much for joining us tonight, Zeke.
yeah, I've got a question though.
For who?
Yeah. For you, you don't think I would ask
Okay,
you a
before you
question?
ask your question, we've had like one person say all through the live. I don't know who this person is, but it'd be nice to just say hi because I'll like to give a
Yeah, yeah.
shout
I
out to
don't
the
know who.
person.
Actually, yeah, yeah. I don't know who this person
Yeah,
is, but
we've
whoever
had
you are,
like
man.
people pop in and pop out and all, and
Is
I
it is it
absolutely
possible to
understand.
see who this? Is it possible to see who this person
No,
is? Because I'm.
no. Like TikTok, you can't see who the person is. Except the person says I,
Oh
then I
dear.
can know who the
Can you
person
say
is.
okay? Can you say hi? I don't know who this is. Just can you say hi?
Please just say I
Cheers.
would like to just do a special shout out for you. Like I'm so
Oh
grateful. Like the person stayed all through the 1 hour. Oh my God. I know
Yeah,
that
I don't even know who's.
anytime I
There
do
has to
like,
there has to be a way.
no, there is
Uh,
no way on
hold
YouTube,
on.
unfortunately. I've done too many lives on YouTube and I know there is no way
YouTube,
to know who the person is.
YouTube can do better now. What's all this? And the
There is
person
no
does
way
not
to
want to
know the
talk.
person
The person
except
does not want
person
to talk.
said hi. So
Yeah,
please,
but
whoever is watching
anyways,
right now, just say hi. We'd like to do a special shout out for you. Like, I'm so grateful. The way you're supporting this brand, whoever that
like
person is. Ah, thank
I don't
you.
know. Yeah,
Because
we need to. Can you at least say something?
the, yeah, okay. Hopefully the person does.
Yeah,
Because the
I'm just
truth
waiting to
is
see if
one
they're
hour
going
is a
to
long
drop a
time.
mess for somebody to sit and watch it.
I,
Oh,
I sensed it. I was actually the one.
she, do you know who she
And
is?
it's my friend. It's my G. I have good
Oh,
people in
he's
my
a
circle.
guy.
Yeah,
Is it a
yes, no.
guy?
Yeah, yeah, he's the guy.
Hakim, Hakim, Akinoso Adebayo. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, brother, for staying all through. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But if you didn't, this is going to be a second episode, and hopefully we can bring the magic back. But yeah, back to my question. Are you ready for my question? But it's not so well. Do I have a question? But I just feel like it's unfair to just let you go and not ask you a question.
I don't understand. You want to ask me a
Or not
question
ask
on my
you
own
a
platform?
question.
Wow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ask. You're still thinking
Okay.
about it.
How yeah, 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 that's because I was just how do you think okay. I was gonna ask a question. I'm frozen right now. Okay, okay. So if there's one thing you could change about say a light for you, what would it be? Maybe I'm not phrasing my questions well, but what I'm saying is if there's one thing you could do differently that's happened, what would that be? Or what's that change that you should have made or you could make if you had the opportunity to make that change? That's not even my initial question, but I'm just asking. At least I'm throwing a question to you.
Wow. Is it like on a personal basis or generally?
I don't know. However, if it's one thing, you could do differently, yeah, because I don't
Hmm.
think it would be fair to let you go and not ask you a question.
Why ask me? I invited you here. You should be asking me questions on my
Okay, I'll change my
platform.
question. If that question is tough, I'll ask you in your inbox anyway.
Well, that's actually
So
tough.
what's one thing that you admire about this gentleman in front of you? That should be easy at least. I mean, I'm sure there's a long list.
Humor yourself.
No, but I mean,
Okay.
I'm saying there has to be. I mean, there has to be a long list of
Oh
something
yeah,
there.
no,
But
really.
I
I
mean,
think
just give me,
I
give me,
mentioned
give
some
me a
of
few
those
points.
things. Oh yeah, I mentioned some of those things. I think how creative you are. Like you're able to come up with incredible things from basically nothing. I see what you do with your fashion
Oh,
brand,
thanks.
and I see how you
Thank you.
try. You your clothing brand is unique. It is the uniqueness for me. And I think I've said this before, even before you and I became friends. The first time I attended,
Hmm.
like, I can forgot at that hat gallery, I've forgotten what it's called, but I think it was African vendors basically. And that was the first time I
Yeah.
interfaced with your brand. I didn't know you as a person, but I interfaced with your brand. And I remember thinking, wow, this person is doing so well with their fashion brand. It's so distinct, it's so
Thank you.
unique. Yeah, so how creative you are, actually, I would never get over that. So eventually, when we became friends, it was just, and even when I met you, I didn't even know you were the person behind that brand. It was so funny, right?
I think it was God's design. It was God's design.
Yeah, like I didn't even know you
How
were
we
the
met.
one. Exactly. So when I eventually put it together, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my, you're the same person,
It's not actually this
basically.
guy.
So how
Yeah.
distinct your work is would always and forever stand out for me. It shows that you put a lot of thought into what you do, and you portray
Thank you.
excellence in such a wonderful way. And it's awesome because you're a child of God. As children of God, we should be enigmas basically, and we should present or portray excellence in everything we do. So I see how you portray this excellence even in your content creation on TikTok. Even though I don't use a lot of TikTok, but anytime I pop in, I'm like, oh wow, you left Instagram to go and be doing all of those great things on
Yeah,
TikTok. And I'm like, I can't say you're thriving there.
Instagram was doing too much. Yeah, Instagram
Exactly.
was
Yeah.
into the form.
Yeah.
Instagram the form. I
Yeah.
don't have the time just yet, but yeah, I will. It's something that I'm
Hmm.
looking to go back to, but at the moment, I'll just show with
Yeah, you're
TikTok.
thriving on
I think I have my
TikTok, and which is awesome. Yeah.
appreciate that. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
but it's cool. Thank you
But
so
really,
much
yeah.
for
And
the kind words.
one last thing, well spoken. Yeah,
Oh, really?
well spoken, great conversation. Anytime we have
Okay.
conversations, even though we argue like most of the time, but great conversations, and you always have like great
But
insights. You make me see things from different
yeah, I
perspectives, but
mean,
you know that even me, I'll still want to argue about certain things. But I like how you
yeah,
patiently explain your point. You be like, Kemi, this is what I'm saying.
yeah.
Kemi, this is, yeah, you're always very patient. Me, after small explanation like this, I'm probably already don't say that. Are you trying? Yeah, so but really,
Ah,
great
thank
heart to
you.
go in.
I think even with going to even because these are things I didn't used to do. Even in speaking in front of camera used to be like one of the problems. But over time, I sort of evolved, and I realized that, man, I don't even have that long. I mean, we don't have forever to live. Why don't you just do the things that, even if you're not perfect at it, why don't you just like you doing
Mm,
what you're doing? Most people will not do this. They feel like, oh, I need to have a huge following. I need to be this. I need to be that. No,
exactly.
just do it. Do you get me? The way I'm
Exactly.
seeing that now, and even with having lives now, if I don't go live in like 2, 3 days, people are like, "Oh, we've not seen you go live. What's the matter?" Because
This
there's
guy,
always,
I'm sure
and
comes
it
to
is
talk like this.
no relax. So we're always there's that
No, it's
anticipation to
really
want
nice. It's good.
to be part of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just amazing to see how even with content creation, that's improved. That's helped me a lot because I'm speaking to different
Yeah.
people. I'm sort of getting different perspective, and some I agree, some I don't agree. But there's that respectable way of approaching, sides of it that doesn't really sit with you. So yeah, you're growing, you're evolving, you're learning, and you're just enjoying life basically. So that's kind of where I am at the moment, and hopefully I will see you soon. Hopefully there's a second part to this. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's good to see you because I
Hopefully.
haven't seen you in like I don't know, in like a year, more than over a year now.
I know. I know.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
haven't
Life has
seen you,
happened.
so good to see you again.
Yeah.
You're actually glowing. You're enjoying me this bro.
Don't tell people
No,
like
no,
this.
it's like
Okay.
so don't
Thank
let
you
them come
so
after
much.
you. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
No, no worries. It's been a pleasure too. Every time we have a conversation, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Hopefully, TikTok one of these days I'll bump into your life. You just tell random people to join now. Me,
Yeah, you
yeah.
should.
Uh-huh. I'll randomly
Yeah, I
join
mean
in
it's
one.
open to all. It's open to all. I mean,
Yeah, I noticed that as
I've
well.
met the most fantastic people of my life, and
Yeah,
we've
I
just grown more than
noticed that.
just
Yeah.
followers. We've been friends. So
Mm, that's great. I'm great you're traveling, and I know that it would only get better. Definitely get
always,
better.
always,
Your
always,
clothing brand
always,
becomes bigger, huge, even here in the diaspora. The acceptance level is
absolutely.
going to blow your mind by the grace of God. And we'll be
We're
here
actually
for
we're
all of
actually
the
working
great news.
on Yeah, we're actually working on a collection at the moment, which is going to. So, what's inspiring the collection, or what will inspire the collection, is the whole men's mental health conversation. We're looking how do
Oh,
we represent.
wow.
Of course, my brand is a very minimalistic brand. I'm not very loud with the things that I do. I'm not. It's not high street, but it's very subtle detail. On the outfits that's just going to represent how it's going to be in line with the whole men's mental health thing. Um,
Mhm.
we're still working on it, trying to get a good picture of okay, how do we want this to be? So we're kind of like in the mood board phase where we're still fleshing
Yeah,
things out, and hopefully we can bring that to fruition, and hopefully we can bring that out, and hopefully people can like it. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. It's a lot of work, but yeah, that's why we're here.
perfect. We're going to love it. Yeah. It's going to blow our minds. Awesome. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much again, Zeke. I'm so grateful. It was great having this conversation with you. I know it was pretty long,
Always
longer
a
than we
pleasure.
planned for. Yeah, thanks so much.
I know.
And
No
to my most
worries.
consistent viewer, Adebayo. Oh my God, I know
Yeah.
you one
I don't
guy.
know who he is, but he's a
Thank you.
gem. Yeah. Thank you so much,
He is
brother.
a germ. He's like one of my most consistent guys. He turns up for my life every single time. Like, thank you so
I
much.
can
I am so
tell.
grateful for our friendship. And thank you for the support. Even if you are the only one viewing this video every time, I'll be coming live because of you. Does not matter.
See, you know.
Okay. All
Exactly.
right. Thank you so
Exactly.
much. It was good having you here. Thank you
All
to
right.
everyone who will watch it
Kemi,
later.
take
Those
care.
who watched before now. We'll meet again next time. All right. Take care of yourself. I'll hand it now. Bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone. Stay blessed. Bye.
Bye.